female and male energy, it's so important that we always get to mention that we're coming from the perspective of self-love, the Inca way, okay? And then, and this is my introduction, who I am, it's just for you to give you a general idea, because when you say, okay, I got coached by this person, then you know that I'm the founder of the Inca way. I'm an Indian shaman, that I focus in researching information of the technology of love, ancient technology of love, okay? And so as a storyteller, I share with a lot of respect the wisdom of my ancestors, which are the pre-Incas and the Incas, all right?
Yes.
So the next thing that I want you to understand, and I'm so excited about this, is that the ancient wisdom is related, or is always presented as energies, like the energy of unconditional love, energy of integrity, energy of power of being, energy of acceptance, and energy of creation. Okay, we're always looking into those energies to be our teachers, to remove blocks and limiting beliefs from our energetic fields. Okay, everything that we observe is what we're creating. It's our observation of our thoughts are creating a reality. So if you're observing that you're not good enough, what you want to create, right?
Yeah. I was very conscious of yesterday, the voice, like the critic, the inner critic. I was very conscious of, well, since our last session, really, but yesterday, as I was trying to do things for myself, of comparisons, and anytime that critic was coming in, I was like, this is messed up.
Exactly. So you're already observing that, right? So I
Yes.
want you to drink some water, because I'm going to explain you something else. But remember, we need to drink water through this process of this understanding of this observation, because we are in tune with frequency. So frequency is always requesting for hydrogen and oxygen to go into the observation in a higher frequency. So the first observation that we have is a second dimensional frequency, okay? And in that, one dimension is one line, 2 dimensions is a square, for instance, over here. But it doesn't have a place to move, because it's just a flat energy, right?
Yep.
And so when we're observing ourselves from that perspective, then we have experiences as the experience of not being good enough, not being powerful, not being accepted by others, or not being all those different things that we cannot escape from, that makes us a victim. That's the observation on the second dimension. All right. So in the way, because there's no movement here, so we're stuck there. And then we have another observation that's higher in energy, which is the third dimension. And in this observation, what we're seeing is that, yes, we're still observing as a survivor energy, but we're still inside of a box. We're still inside of something. So there's no movement. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So, and then we're still trapped, because we're still trapped into it's something that, because in second dimension and third dimension, we're only using our sense of ideas and thoughts. We're not connecting to the heart. That's why there's no movement. It is in the fourth dimension, but we start creating movement. And in the process of creating movement, that means that we're starting to make choices that are healthy for us. This is when we start making a choice. Oh, maybe it's not all about, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe the idea I'm not good enough, you start observing the idea, it's not true. And now you're like having more awareness of things. And then you're connecting to the heart. And by connecting to the heart, you're going like, oh yeah, okay. So there's something else there outside of the box. And that's what is the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is a reality that is outside the box, that has the solutions. And the solutions come through feelings. And that's why the strongest feeling that we use in the process of this training is self-love. Because at that point, you're connecting to your DNA and changing and making and changing behaviors to that level. You are changing your molecular behavior to better behaviors that are going to work for you. So I'm just going to show you some pictures of the molecular behaviors here, where there is a movement. There's actually something's moving, balancing, and creating something. And in that process of creation, in order to be in your heart, there's a connection. When you are in your heart, there's a connection between the future, the present, and the intention, which means that you start understanding that you own your choices. All right.
Yes.
So, and this is kind of tricky because a lot of things that's a lot of, and that's me, it's part of the third dimensional energy that we think we have everything figured out. And the logic, right? is
Yeah.
what's your heart, the energy of your heart, how can that make a difference? Well, here's the difference. When you're in your heart, you're creating circular time, which means every decision that you make eventually has a completion or is creating a completion. On the other hand, linear time is fragmented in 3 sections: past, present, and future. And it's really hard to be only into the present and the future, because the past is like a magnetic force that is pulling you back because of lack of completion in your choices.
Got it.
So, you got it?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to the next one. So how do we get into circular time? Based on the quality of choices that we make. This creates new realities, your creation intention, which is your understanding and energetic level that your choices have a consequence. And so so energetically, you're focusing into the future without you even aware, oh, this is what's going to happen in the future if I make this choice. So, okay, I'm not going to make this choice. Oh yeah, I'm going to make this choice. The excitement that comes behind it, right? Well, in linear time, we don't have this intention. We're not free of making our own choices because something else is controlling. And so the technology of feelings, what you're learning, is teaching you into seeing the difference that the balance in female and male energy have to do in the intention. So when you're in circular time, you're in balance. Female doesn't have to do anything with women or men. Female balance has to do with the fact that you're a creator. And male energy has to do, like my ancestors were teaching me energetically, and male energy is in the direction that you have. So you have both components in your body. Okay. So instead of you go into a reality of circular time, where you move into present and future, giving and receiving, the male energy, the creation energy, gives to the receiving energy, which is the direction energy, and the direction energy gives back to the female energy. So they are constantly giving each other, and they create unconditional love. And in the energy and the feeling of unconditional love, guess what? You always focus on a high level of frequency in the future, where every possibility is available to you, to anything that you're looking for. All right?
Yep.
So the next thing that I learned from my ancestors is that in the balance of female and male energy, there is a distribution, a molecular distribution of energy. And let me drink some water because I need to recharge while I'm teaching this. And this distribution, my love, there is 100 points. Let's say 100 points is a glass of water that you have, okay? And that's the energy that you produce so much that you're full in your glass of water. But there is much more energy that you can produce, so that goes into a second glass of water that is a distribution of 50, 25, 25. In that distribution, what happens is 50 of that energy will come back to you to awaken your molecular behavior, to activate, to be a multiple, let me put it in a language that most people understand. So you can start generating more feelings. So your feelings get stronger and you'll become more intuitive, and people eventually learns to channel like you do, because your frequency, your genetic energy already prepare you for that, because you spend time in your heart, right?
Right.
So 50 in this, 50 comes back to you to get stronger. 25 goes through your DNA to your ancestors, and you start healing your ancestors. And by healing your ancestors, what you're doing in a molecular level is giving the memories that you carry in your body of your ancestors go into a high distribution healing, and then they go to the future. And that energy will support you eventually to generate more possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And the last group is the 25 that you give as a contribution to the universe, to the planet, to anything that is vibrating or that you can teach or you can heal, that you can, like in these times of change, we need so much of that energy of self-love, that energy that will go into different frequencies that find solutions in situations that we're going through, right? Because we're in the process of ascension, right? So a lot of this is happening as we speak, okay? And the symbol for that is the symbol of the DNA creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to another one. And I just kind of want to clarify here, there's a distinction between no feelings and feelings, right? So when you're in the second dimension, you're stuck in your mind and you cannot process information and you cannot manifest.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in your feelings, you can manifest things because you're in circular time. And so there's a movement that's happening. You're always moving, okay? So
Yeah.
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. This is
So,
great.
okay, so let's talk about my people, the Incas and pre-Incas, the different cultures that developed in Peru. They knew, and they described that in the tapestry, in the weaving tapestry, they created the symbols of progression. These are symbols of movements, of vibrations, because they were expressing their feelings, their understanding of feelings. Even though they wouldn't call it feelings, they were decoding their language, their connection to what was around them. For instance, Machu Picchu. If you ever had a chance to go to Machu Picchu, you will notice that Machu Picchu was built not as a separated part, as a fragmented part of human creation. It was integrated to the mountains, the shape of the different buildings, the formation was integrated to the rocks. Everything was part of one unity. And so that's what was the most incredible thing about some of those cultures in Peru, that to them, to be connected to nature as in a molecular behavior, to understand and be able to talk with the mountains, be able to talk with their ancestors that cross over. We're able to talk with, see what are the different energies and how they're moving, how they can create a family. Those different things that were coming from the teachings of the feelings of the heart and feelings in the molecular level. So when I started awakening to what was the technology of love, I started seeing some symbols. And I started decoding them and trying to understand them. And each one of them, all these ones are feelings. For instance, the center of creation has over 1,000 feelings that create this component of feelings. And then in the ancient technology, they did some experiments when it comes to the hydrogen waves of function movement and these little lights that you see over here. In the ancient time, they also have their symbols, the coding that represented that. So they knew about physics, chemistry, and science. So, like I was explaining before, they did the drawings of the different coding and symbols in different places in Peru that were connected to the movements of the sky, the astrology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me explain one of the symbols that you're going to be learning is a sound wave. This is the Inca cross. This is a symbol that when it is in movement, these are the different things that can create, right? Now,
Oh, wow.
pretty impressive, huh? And this is such Chacan as well, sound, right? When they create sound to the movement, or what it can possibly be, they see that it's a movement, but it's a movement that creates light. And everything that creates light has a feeling, okay? And then,
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool, huh? And now we have here, again, the Inca cross, but as being decoded in a different way here. So they're using the same molecular behavior to decode something different. See, the Inca cross now is decoding in different ways here. All right. So,
Yeah.
and this is the knowledge of feelings. This is technology of feelings. the decoding that goes to it. Okay, so now over here, which is really powerful in somebody, I would love to learn more about this, and I will eventually, because it's in my journey, how the vibrations, how there is the distribution of the vibration of these. This is a rock. This is a drawing, is a carving that they found in a rock, and there's some research to see how that works. And again, their way of thinking was in a fifth-dimensional thinking, because it was connected to the heart, and they be able to tap into the frequencies of those realities that we can prove scientifically now. And again, sounds, like the Inca girls created different waves of sounds. So you can see that in the tapestry of people. Now, how can that be possible? Because when a woman was going to, because of the knowledge that they have, intuitively knowledge that they have, through their heart, they were connecting to the molecular behavior of active living things, right? Like animals, plants. So when they would do the wobbing, or when they would create something like over here, let's just go over here, they were transferring the movements and the sounds and the different things that they will see. And women, to get to that point, they were so connected to plants and animals, they literally communicated in the frequencies of that the color that they were dyeing, for instance, or the plant that they were using to dye color, because as you can see, they loved the different colors of vibration, right? And so it was being, the knowledge, the intuitively knowledge what was around them, it was being shown into the tapestry, into their stonework as well. Okay, so why am I introducing that? Because we're going to match to the wisdom or to the knowledge that we have nowadays. Average human body contains about 37.2 trillion cells. These are the cells, okay? We have lots and lots and lots of cells, right? Let me just show you over here. Here I'm showing more cells, how the body is compound cells. And then inside of the cell, we have the DNA. And the DNA, you see all those different colors there, the tiny little dots there? Those are the atoms. And so the atoms have different colors and different frequencies. So in a lot of ways, when they were doing the drawings, they were recreating that experience. Does that make sense?
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I know it's pretty amazing, isn't it? So this is inside of a cell. Well, okay, this is how many cells we have in the body, right? So let's go over here. And this is one cell. Okay, this is one cell. And inside of the cell, this is what we have. And we find it to, we have to look into this microscopic, film that to be able to see them, right? And then, but inside of this cell, we find the DNA. And the little dots that you see there are the atoms. And the atoms, inside of the atoms, we have the electrons that are moving outside, which are like the telephone, the connectors between the outside world and the inside world. And right in the nucleus, and in proton, you find this little guy here. And it has it's called, I don't know how to pronounce it, quarks, I think quarks. And so, and you go over here, and you see over here, you see one of them, right?
Yep.
And look at that symbol there, symbol of intention, and over here. So what the Incas were doing, and the symbols I was looking were in the atomic level, which means they're so tiny, but because of feelings and experiences, they were able to touch into this information. And that's what the teachings of the Inca way are about, for you to connect to that level. Is that making sense?
Yes.
So cool, isn't it? Look at these ones.
It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, it is so cool. And so to me, this is very humbling, because here is where we can change the behavior of people. And you know what's the best thing? If you're not having access to self-love, it's very hard to get to this level. So the mistakes cannot be made, because when you get to this level, when you are observing something from the perspective of self-love, you are already creating a reality of expansion, which is a function, is light. What you're creating is light that goes into expansion, feelings that go into expansion. So as a society, That's what we're going back right now. We're going back into expansion. This is one of the symbols that represent expansion, right?
Yeah.
That we found. And so in order to create the expansion, this is ideally, this is the promise. This is the reason why the Incas and pre-Incas the Incas were the last ones who kept the secret, because in the promise that it will be time where our society, people will awaken to their gifts. It was a way of saying that we'll be aware of this knowledge, but once people are ready to accept them, the energy of unconditional love, energy of integrity, any energy of accepting the power of who you are, your own being, energy of acceptance, and energy of creation. Once we start getting stronger in this, and we are getting as a society slowly, but we're going into that direction, and we're going to understand how to create new realities from that perspective. And that's why you're taking this class, and that's why you felt like this is what it was guiding to that space, because with your gifts, there was something else that you can step into. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay, any questions to her?
No, it's amazing.
Okay. All right. So just over here, a little more coding that you get to see here, different symbols. These are symbols of feelings, right? How they can create. And can you feel it? And once I touch them, can you feel
Yeah.
the symbols? You feel something is happening inside of you, right?
Yeah.
That's because you're in tune with your molecular behavior inside of you. Okay. So to make this story very special in a way, I think is romantic, is to know that this is a reminder that we are a creator of life. Because when we're in that level, we're going into expansion and creating more light. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
And our observation, the way how we observe ourselves, a victim, which is second level of dimension, third dimensional, which is a survivor of fifth dimension, we have a choice. And this is where I'm encouraging you into understanding that your love in every level. And then you can create this. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, going into expansion, going into expansion, going into expansion. So everything that the Inca way works on moving forward is in developing more knowledge and bringing that to the clients through consultation workshops and like with you one-to-one coaching to be able to integrate these gifts inside of you to do the type of work that you came here to do in the process of in your situation healing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So any questions to that, my love?
No, that was amazing.
I'm excited that
You put that together so amazing.
took me years. It took me years to get to this point, but it's ready here to be able to understand what's going on. And so thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time to go into this process with me.
Yeah.